here from a.
Joe, were you talking to yourself?
Um,
are you are you talking to yourself?
I
Uh,
am. We're not live yet, so I'm talking to
oh,
myself
oh,
right
yes,
now.
we are. Yes, we
Are you sure
are.
about that?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Dude, you got to be on your toes, man. You got to be on your toes. I snuck that one in on you.
Shit. I don't like that.
Well, I thought you knew. I said that I'm going to hit start streaming and go live.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I thought. Yeah, whatever. I didn't know. I was
that's
watching some of this game too, and I'm, going back and forth.
Hey, I don't blame you, man. We were just Joe and I were just talking here. We're gonna what are we gonna call this? The opening five, Joe? I don't freaking know. But we were just sitting here talking about there is college basketball on tonight like crazy. You got Mizzou and Mississippi State are 56-54 with a minute and 40 left in the second half, and then you've got Tennessee and A&M. I had to switch over from it because I couldn't keep it on that channel because the Hogs are coming up here at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock tip off versus Georgia in Bud Walton Arena tonight.
Georgia,
So,
Georgia.
Tuesday night is kind of a hard night to do a live stream during basketball season, Joe.
Yeah, it is actually. I feel
just,
like every Tuesday it's like been some kind of event. There's been Valentine's Day, your birthday, and then you said today was Fat Tuesday.
today's
It's
Fat
like,
Tuesday.
yeah, every freaking Tuesday it's something now.
We'll get through these holidays, and then people
Yeah,
we'll find out if people just don't care about us on Tuesday nights or if they just been
yeah,
preoccupied.
clearly.
Oh man, we got hey Super TA. You said how can you reach out to me every once in a while? Let me I'll holler at you in a comment or something like that and let you know. Okay. I don't
I
do.
can be,
I'm not.
I can be Travis's liaison in on Instagram.
Yeah, because I don't do Instagram anymore. I don't do. Never had
Super
TikTok.
TA,
Don't do
you gotta have
Facebook.
me. This is for Super TA. You gotta have me over this year to check out your mowers. I'm putting it out there now.
He doesn't have a choice now, Joe.
Yeah, he's got to
You've
now.
already made it official on YouTube Live. Hey, what's up, Super
Yeah,
TA? Harper, my man, coming in hot. What's up,
I love.
dude?
So
Yeah.
what I wanted to say for this 5 minute mark was my theory on SEC basketball, ACC basketball, Big East. So my theory is NBA draft. Do not draft anybody from the Big Ten, uh, like in like the top five. I've seen too many picks over the years from like Ohio State or like like just different SEC schools that just don't pan out. I don't know what it is, but that's just my thing.
So you're
I know that
okay. SEC basketball, yeah, that might be the case. But what about SEC
I
football?
SEC football. I mean, that's you can't go wrong there. That's like a totally different topic.
I will
I
say
mean, we've had,
SEC basketball's down this year. I mean, if
yeah,
you look back at recent NCAA tournaments, we've had quite a few teams that make it into the tournament. Now, the success rate after they make it into the tournament here lately has been pretty low, unless you're talking about, of course, the Arkansas Razorbacks, my team, which we've been to the Elite Eight the past 2 years. So, but man, that's a hard act to follow 2 years in a row. Arkansas fans haven't been too terribly happy with this year's season so far. It's been kind of like a roller coaster, but look, going to the Elite Eight 2 years in a row, you can't sit there
yep.
and expect that to happen. It had been 25 years since the last time we went to the Elite Eight. So it's a tough sport. So you
Yeah.
can't you got to take what you get when you get it, and if the season's not going the way you want, once it gets to tournament time, all things can change.
Yeah. It's just like playoffs with any sport. I mean, when you get into the playoffs, it's a different season. It's a totally different season.
Hey, we got some
But
folks popping in. Hey, look, hey, Doghouse, I get it. I don't know if you're joking, if you don't want to talk about basketball, if you do want to talk about basketball, but look, we're going to talk lawns, we're going to talk basketball, we're going to talk a lot of things on this show. We hope that's not like a deterrent to you. But this is our 5 minutes leading up to the show. We ain't even kicked off the real show yet. We're just not going to leave you sitting here with like a countdown timer. Real show doesn't start till 8 o'clock or when this 5 minutes is up. I think I got it turned over a little bit too late today, Joe, but we can get it started. You ready to get started?
Yeah. Hey, Ed, where are you from in Jersey? I see you commented there. South or north? There's no central. So that's a whole other story there. But yeah, let's go. Let's jump into it.
Oh, I got you, man. I got you, Doghouse. Uh, Georgia, Arkansas, coming up here in what?
South
Yeah,
Plainfield.
we're about
Okay.
to. Oh, he's on here. You're gonna be dogging on me, man. This is gonna
Near
be tough,
Princeton.
man. Huh?
No, I'm Ed. He's South Plainfield. It's like near, I think, Princeton area, I believe. So that's cool.
Gotcha.
Princeton's a cool area.
Doghouse Lawn Care's in here because looks like his Georgia Bulldogs are about to tip off against my Razorback. So I see what he's talking about. I'm going to have my eye on the score, but we'll try not to talk about it a whole lot. But, you know, Doghouse Lawn Care, I'm glad you brought that up because I do want to say this. Look, we're going to get on here every Tuesday evening at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And Joe and I are both lawn care freaks. Lawn care is what somehow in this crazy world brought Joe and I together, and it's what brought all of us all together here on YouTube. But if we all love lawn care, something tells me that there's more than just lawn care that we have to talk about, more than just lawn care that we have in common. So we're going to talk lawn care. We're going to talk different stuff on here. If it's ever just driving you nuts or you have some topics you want us to specifically address, let us know and we will hit them. But hey, Joe, you saw my post last night that I posted on my community, thanking folks.
Yeah, I heard we got our first sponsor tonight.
Oh,
this is like,
yes.
Speaking of your posts and taking us seriously, but
yeah,
we
Joe.
actually we got our first real sponsor. This is awesome. So Travis, you take it away.
Yeah, we do. We have our first sponsor. Someone said in the comment section last night that they can't take me seriously as a lawn care channel without a lawn guide. So introducing to you the ultimate non-science guide to a nice lawn. We all have hashtag lawn goals and a 5th grade education, Joe. If you can't make it this season with this lawn guide, then you can't make it in the lawn at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this guide was literally put together in 24 hours, so we have no clue what's in it. So there could be affiliate links, there could be not affiliate links. Like we really don't know. There could be soil test results in there. I mean, there's like a ton of stuff in there, all good stuff. You know, the real stuff that you really need to know when it comes to having a nice lawn. All in this guide for you for a special price of $69.69. So go check it out, guys.
And Joe, that's how much we're going to pay them to use it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not even selling it. Now look, guys.
And the best part about this guide is step 1.
What is step 1, Joe?
Step 1.
Surely this can't be the truth, right?
I know. Like everyone, there are going to be enough of these videos coming. Step 1, no soil tests.
Oh, say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. No. The tyranny. We're going to lose people on this one, Joe. No soil test?
This is right up my cup of tea for a lawn care guide, man. I pay a couple $100 for that.
Yeah.
So
look, guys, Joe and I ended up on this show together because Joe was, I don't like saying making fun of or bullying, but Joe, you were taking little jabs at me, right?
Yeah. Just like everybody.
That's how we ended up here. So, like, look, we're going to make some jokes on the show. We're going to pick and poke fun at ourselves. We're going to pick and poke fun at the community. The community. We're going to pick and poke fun at a lot of other things, not just lawn care. But what we're hoping to do, Joe, with the show more than anything, is we're hoping to
open people's minds that there's more to just like just more to just grass out there in the world, and there's other topics, there's other things that I think a lot of us that will find a common ground on, or something that we're both, interested in. Like, there's a lot of things I would think me and you are, believe it or not, are alike in, and that's what's great about these last 2 weeks is we really gotten to know each other even more, and we're going to continue to do that. And I think we got a really great lineup of just different topics. We'll hit some grass, we'll hit some non-grass, but it's just going to be fun stuff to talk about on a weekly basis, and that's what we're going to be doing.
Well, and we just kind of did the quote thing about community, and I think if you were to poll, now this is just my personal opinion, this
Mhm.
community went really bananas during COVID, and we've had this
Oh yeah.
conversation before that is lawn care? It's a question we might ask, but is lawn care on YouTube kind of in this downward motion instead of an upward motion?
Mm.
Because I have talked to people personally who said that they still, from time to time, watch my videos and keep up with my channel. And these are friends, but they were really big into it during COVID. Now they're back traveling for work. They're back in the office. They don't have the time to get out in the lawn. So sometimes I question where this community really is and how much support it actually has for each other. And sometimes I think it's perhaps just a little too hell bent on only the lawn stuff, only the grass
Yeah.
stuff, only the hardcore obsessed side of it, and not the fun, not the recreational, not the hobbyist, not the hey, we're all here because of lawn care, but we got other things to talk about type deal. What do you think, Joe?
I totally agree. I mean, I did a video right around Halloween, I believe it was, about lawn care going down the tubes on YouTube, or we call it lawn tube going down the tubes. And I mean, I've and a couple people actually reached out to me afterward, and they were like, "Yeah, my views are flat. They're going down. There hasn't been much, really, viewership going up, and it's mostly due to the pandemic and think people staying home and things like that." And I agree. I mean, I believe that this lawn care community thing is, there's sides. I hate to say it, but there are sides, different, like a team. Like they're just
But
different teams out
but
there, and
could
and
but
uh,
could that, Joe, not to cut you off,
but
but could those sides and those kind of factions have been formed because of the growth? I've noticed
yeah,
that in other genres.
it's the growth. It's people getting free stuff. It's people, you know, who they're yeah, who they're partnered with. It's just like a whole bunch of different things, and I, I'm coming, like, I believe me. I'll be honest. I was one of those people that were trolling people and didn't like certain things, and
Joe, I didn't
my
like
mentality.
you. I didn't like you because
Yeah, and
of
my
that.
and my mentality this year is, you know what? I hate to use this word, but fuck it, and just whatever I want to do, I'm gonna do. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But and I think that's how you almost have to be in this community, because because it's just so, I don't know. It's just like I can't really talk too much because I'm the one that's been this kind of person in the past where
But Joe,
that has trolled people. So
that's how I think we ended up linking up because I didn't like you. I thought what you were doing was having a negative impact in a lot of ways. But I've also been an advocate for saying that we all don't have to think the same. We all don't have to do the same things. We all don't have to create the same videos. We all don't have to have the same level of interest, passion, love, care, or whatever for grass. And I think that's really more the detriment to a community, whether it be in YouTube or anywhere, is when you start expecting everybody to have groupthink and think that we all have to think the exact same way. So that's what
yeah.
was my original thing for asking you to do this, is because we didn't initially think the same way. But after getting to talk to you, I've seen you're coming around in different ways that you didn't think like
Yeah.
maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago, 4 months ago. So,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
always
No, I
time
agree. I agree.
we go through these funks, don't we, Joe? Where
Yeah,
it's
oh yeah,
not fun. I
yeah.
don't want to do this. Like this is just stupid. Why? There's all these things that can go through our heads.
It,
But you
it,
start to come out of those, and I think that's where we said, okay, maybe there's a good example to be made out of us that we can do a show and we can address some of these topics.
So I just want to point a couple of comments here. Ed, if you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to it. I'm in South Jersey. I'm like 20 minutes from Philly, so I know we're in the same areas, obviously in Jersey. And I do talk about cool season because that's what I have. I have tall fescue, and that's what's great about us is you're warm season. I'm cool season. I know nothing about warm season other than my dad has centipede grass in South Carolina right now. That's where they moved to from Jersey. But yeah, and Tom G, I would agree. The best thing for the pro side would be for for our kind of channels to go away. But and me and Travis would probably both agree on this. The pro side should just stick to the pro side and just let the amateurs do what they want to do. And
Because I've already, how many times have I
you
argued,
know,
Joe, that not everybody gets into turf grass because they want to be a professional. I would argue
no,
that a lot of the amateurs get into grass and lawn care purely as a homeowner hobby, and
yeah,
that is the catalyst for getting them more interested in the science, the professional side, learning more about what the pros have to say. I think it's really the bad thing is the pros that
because
make the
there's a lot
amateurs
of yeah,
feel
and there
inferior, like they're a bunch of losers for trying to take care of their grass. You would almost think that they would kind of take that as a compliment that look, the thing we went to college for, the thing we love and we made a business out of, we have other people that we have a chance to educate on. But the minute you start doing it the wrong way, then that's where some factions start coming into play. And I think you mentioned that. So, Joe, I'm glad you brought that up. And Chuck made a really good point from Daddy
yeah, I saw that.
Marley.
Yeah,
And I wanted to address that because, yeah, Chuck, I think you're right. I've been following a lot of other hobbies here on YouTube. And you mentioned that about gaming, lawn care. I've also really gotten into following sports card collecting and trading and collectibles on YouTube. And much the same thing there. It's skyrocketed. But I can tell you one thing about that community. Joe and I kind of had a text conversation about this the other night. That community, Joe, and back me up or correct me if I'm wrong. That community supports each other. I mean, whether you like what they say or hate what they say, agree with them or disagree with them, they are there because they love the hobby. Sometimes I feel like this lawn care community is only here because they want their tips. And if you don't give them tips in your videos, then screw you, man. I came here for tips and all you are is blabbering. Where I showed Joe the other night a sports card collecting channel that has 22,000 subscribers. Joe, tell the folks how many people were watching their live stream the other night.
uh, I think there was like what 2 to 3 grand, like
2,600 people
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say about
watching a
two to
live
three
stream.
thousand. Yeah, yeah.
Watching a live stream.
That's
And
crazy.
there's another channel that's smaller than mine. And I've caught some of their live streams where there's hundreds watching out of a channel that has 18,000 subscribers. And what I think we have a chance to accomplish here with this channel, Joe, is not only to provide some lawn care talk, some conversation, some commentary, some tips, but like we've said a million times already, also to like just have conversation. College basketball.
And
I mean,
and
NFL's
that's
over.
why
Did you see the XFL yesterday or 2 days ago?
yeah, that shit show.
But it was crazy. Did you see?
I mean, it
It's
was
kind
like
of it's
it was interesting. I watched some of it. I just like what I like about the XFL. What they're doing is I don't know if you knew this, but after the end of the season, they're releasing all the players so they have a chance to go to the NFL, which I think is really cool. I just don't think it's going to catch on. I mean, I don't like we have I think Philly has a team. I don't even know. We don't talk about it on sports radio, obviously. But yeah, it's hey, it's something to watch, right? It's something trending. It's something.
But
to
if
watch
you
on
if we
TV.
let's bring that back home. But if you like football, you'll watch it, right? If you like lawn care,
Yeah, you would watch it.
and you support the hobby and you support
Yeah.
the channels that create the content, you can't always be clicking on videos only if they're, and I'm not trying to make like a plea to click
Yeah,
on our videos. I'm not
yeah.
trying. It's just
Yeah,
it's
mine
my
aren't the best
brain.
videos in the world. Like I just put together what I like to do, and just whoever watches it watches it. But it's
It's just how my brain operates because I'm
yeah,
gonna tell you one thing. I don't watch lawn care videos hardly at all anymore. They are boring. They're rinse and repeat. I find myself having to create the same style videos because, unfortunately, sometimes it gets frustrating because that's all people want is
yeah.
okay. It's spring, so we got to come out with the same videos.
I've been
I
watching
don't
a
like
lot.
lawn care videos. I think they're boring now. So something
Yeah,
has to give. Something has to change in the space. That's my
I,
opinion.
yeah. I mean, I haven't really been. I like if somebody puts up a new video, I'll click on it. I'll watch a few minutes of it. If it entices me to watch it further, I'm gonna watch it. But I'm subscribing from people. I'm still engaged and watching their new content that's coming out. Even if I don't watch the whole thing, I'm gonna still click on it, see if I like it or not. I mean, to be honest, I haven't been watching a ton of lawn care content. I'm doing a lot of research on lasers and laser engraving and things like that because that's what I want to get into. So I'm doing a lot of research on different lasers and things like that. So more to come on that in the future. But yeah, so let's get into our topics tonight. I think we covered some lawn care
Hey,
here.
first question I got for you, Joe. What was
Yes.
the first ever lawn mower you remember mowing a lawn with?
Uh, well, that was my dad had a lawn business growing up. Um, he had an old
So
lawn
if he had a
boy.
lawn business, you probably had a lot of
Yeah,
mowers that you came across, right?
yeah. He had a green lawn boy. Like that thing was old, and it was funny because some of his first lawns that he had. So my dad had two jobs. He worked at the post office at night, overnight, and then he did the lawns. 6 months out of the year, and that's how he
Hey, see
supported
you,
our
Chuck.
family.
Thanks for coming in. Sorry, Joe.
And so he had some of his early lawns. He was using a 21-inch push mower in the backyard because the mower, his X mark at the time, didn't fit in some people's backyards. He had a 36-inch X mark, and yeah. So then the push mower was like I was real young, but then my first time actually mowing a lot of lawns was his 36-inch X mark. It had a Velky on it, so a Velky you stand on it and it drags you around. But he didn't want me to learn on the Velky because he was always afraid that I would fall off of it. So I had to learn on walking behind it. And he had a couple like really big size properties that he would just like, let me, just kind of feel for it, because at the time he had the kind that they're called the pistol grips. That's just the kind of hand grips that they had. Now they have other kind that are like kind of up here and the other ones
Mm-hmm.
were down here. So he actually still has that lawnmower down in he still has that
Well,
lawnmower
hey,
down in South Carolina.
what would
Yeah,
you
it's
expect?
on its second engine.
What was your
Uh,
what was I would imagine your dad's probably in the same age range as my dad, and it does surprise me that he still got it because that generation took care. I mean, my dad took the
yeah, they
most
took care.
pride
Yeah,
and care of, and this was the first lawnmower. He had an old push mower snapper, and the reason why I really got into lawn care was because all I wanted to do was ride the lawnmower when I was a kid. And he had a Dixon, baby blue Dixon zero turn, and we had like
oh
a
wow.
acre lot with a ton of trees, so I got to like spin
Yeah,
around those trees like crazy.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
that's really what got me into it. And I'm seeing some comments, Doc. Thank you so much, Super TA. Thanks, man. Super TA says the little guys have the best lawn channels, hands down. And I'm telling you, if it weren't for those early experiences, getting out in the lawn mowing on that baby blue Dixon zero turn while my dad push mowed around the house up close to the house, and he took his steel trimmer and went around all the trees up close and the sidewalks and driveways and
I'll
all that kind of stuff.
I'll always remember one of my dad's early string trimmers was the curved shaft as opposed to the straight. And
Oh, my dad has
I
a
don't know.
commercial grade.
I don't know how yeah, my dad had all commercial grade stuff.
He just
There's a
finally had to get a new one. It was 20 something years old, that steel trimmer.
Yeah, at state, and that's another thing. They don't make just the carburetors today. They're not like they were made years ago. I mean, that shit just he had mostly Echo string trimmers, commercial ones, because that's the dealer that he dealt with had mostly Echo.
You there, Joe? I think we lost Joe. Joe, we'll wait on Joe to come back in. Joe, no, you're fine, Joe. We hear you. But Joe was talking about we're talking about something. I can hear you, man. You're just all black on me. We've been talking about the first lawnmowers that we mowed on, and Super TA's talking about, or he made a comment that said, the small channels are the best lawn channels, hands down. And look, I won't agree or disagree with that, but I will say that, a lot of us that have these small lawn channels got into lawn care because we have those memories perhaps when we were young and we were out in the lawn mowing with our dad or our brothers or sisters or moms, whoever it was that did the lawn care around our house. And then we finally became homeowners and we wanted to get good at it. And we remembered those old days of helping out around the house. And when you finally become a homeowner and you realize, hey, this is up to me, you start taking quite a bit of pride in your lawn. And I didn't start taking care of a lawn until I became a homeowner in 2017. So that's really what was the difference maker for me, is because, look, I didn't want to be that person in the neighborhood that didn't take care of his home. No, we can hear you, Joe. I've kept your microphone up, but I don't see your video. I'll let you know when you pop back on. Can you hear me still? Oh, you gotta love live. You gotta love live streaming. So I just wanted to, yeah, we'll do it live. No, I just wanted to ask that question, Joe. I don't think they can hear you. They're saying they can't hear you, so you're completely offline. But I'm going to get you back online here, okay, Joe? We're going to get Joe back up. Let's see. Y'all hang tight with us and see if we can get Joe back online. So we've got a couple other topics here for you tonight. We are going to hit those as soon as I get Joe back up and running. Hey, Joe, this is the third week now we've done this, and we haven't had any technical issues, and then here we are. So Joe, I'm still not getting you popped up. I'm still not getting you popped up, but I'm working on it. I'm going to try it one more time, and then I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, X out and come back in. I'm going to keep folks entertained. Okay. All right. I'm looking through some comments here. Oh, yeah. We're seeing, look, I'm not going to say that just because you're a big channel that, maybe there is some element to that, Harper, that you do have a big ego. There is some element to salesman, but that happens in the smaller channels as well. I wouldn't say that's strictly just isolated to the bigger folks, because I've seen it happen small across the board. Sometimes people get a little frustrated with me, I think, when I talk about not having affiliate links and not being a salesman and not doing all the other things or following that same path that other YouTube channels are following. And it has nothing against them. It just has to do with the fact that when I started this channel, coming up on 4 years ago now, I said that I was not going to do any of that stuff, that I was going to do it the way I'm doing it right now. I said that from day one, and I have not wavered since. So I will continue rocking and rolling as I have since, I think it was July of 2019. All right, folks. No one sees Joe, right? No one can see Joe. No one can hear Joe, right? No, they can't hear you, Joe. I don't know what the deal is. What did you do? I'm sitting here having a conversation with Joe and no one else. Negative, thanks for seeing auto detailing. Joe. Yeah, I can hear you because we're both into that same website together. So I don't know what the deal is with you. Joe is a distant memory. Joe, I might be doing the show without you, my man. I might be doing the show without you. Maybe it's because we're already streaming. I have no idea. Okay. Well, here it is. It's just me. It's just me. So let's talk about some of the topics we were going to talk about today. I appreciate you all being here. You know, the that's one thing that, despite my disdain for Joe at one point and his not so fond feelings about me back before we really got to know each other, is that's really kind of what we do on both of our channels. We focus on the cultural practices. That's really all we've done, and that's all I've done since I started taking care of a lawn in 2017. I mow, I mow a lot, mainly because I just enjoy it. I enjoy getting out in the lawn. I enjoy the stress it gives me, the escape from work and everyday life. I water. Now, I'm one of those crazy people that enjoys watering. When we built the new house, a lot of people were asking me, "Hey, are you going to put in an irrigation system?" And I had originally planned that I would, but towards the very end, as construction got closer to wrapping up, you know what I thought? I said, I'm going to save the money that I would spend on an irrigation system, and we put it towards extending our patio out. And more importantly, I really, really enjoy those early mornings hooking the hose up to the spigot outside and setting sprinklers and my stopwatch and moving those sprinklers around the lawn for a few hours in the morning while I'm drinking coffee and just sitting around with the wife and kids. So I like to water a few rounds of fertilizer every year, 3, maybe 4, and you're all good. And take care of some weeds. I mean, it's really that simple. So I think Joe and I really came to understand each other when more of our lawn personalities aligned and not so much. Still no Joe. Come on, Joe. I'm going to try this one more time. Uh, you want to try? Well, I don't have that in there, so they're looking at me in a blank screen. So I'm going to switch back over to me. But we realized that our lawn care personalities were more alike in that sense than our personalities on, say, YouTube or as creators. But that's kind of what the point we've been trying to drive home when it comes to this lawn care community, that, you know, maybe we don't agree with the same things. The joke we had off the top about not having to do a soil test, and, you know, the ultimate non-science guide to a nice lawn. Look, we might not talk about science. I might not talk about science here in a scientific way and point out scientific terms and things like that. But what I can tell you is that a lot of the practices I do, whether I say it or not in my channel, in my videos, the practices I do have some element of science in them. I mean, if you know anything about lawn care, Joe, I keep checking on you, man. You're still not there. If you know anything about lawn care, it can't be accomplished without science. It's not to say that I'm not using science to make educated decisions here on the channel. I'm just not using science in a scientific way of explaining it in my videos to my audience. I'm using what I prefer more in my receiving of a message is I prefer more of a conversational delivery, a conversational approach, one that isn't, uh, you know, built around a lot of professional jargon that I, one, I don't like to speak that way. I don't speak that way naturally in my own conversation. So it's really hard for me to produce videos where, you know, I'm pretending to be someone that I'm not. But make no mistake, when I put videos out here on Budget Lawns, they're backed by elements of science. Maybe not to the level of science that some folks might want it to be, but they're backed by my basic understanding of science in the lawn. Now, I don't take science to the extreme of doing everything as the science handbook for lawn care would mention, but I do have some element of science in my back pocket. But I mean, raise your hand. Tell me in the comments. Do you prefer the delivery of conversational style? You know, let's talk about it in layman's terms, in a homeowner way, one that I can understand when I'm speaking it, and you can understand when you're hearing it. Or do you prefer the uh, look at me? I'm a science genius, because I'm not going to pretend to be something that I'm not here on Budget Lawns. All right, I want to move on past that. We're still waiting on Joe. I've got a screen up. He's not here with us, so it looks like Joe. No one can hear you. No one can see you. You are not up at all. Um, they can't hear you because I don't see your audio, because you're not piped in with me um, on OBS. So I'm not sure what happened to your camera, but I keep trying to pull you back up and you're not there. But hey, here's what I want to talk about when it pertains to lawn care. I don't want to be one that eats my words, because here lately I've been making some videos, and it's typically my MO this time of year that I'm going to make videos that kind of push the narrative that, look, it's too early, folks. Why are you trying to jump the gun? Why are you trying to get out there and rush into your lawn care season? Why are you trying to make it spring before it's spring? And now here I am, I'm sitting here going, oh crap, we might have to do a U-turn this season. We might have to pivot just a little bit, because it's spring here. I know where a lot of you are at, especially if you're on the lower half of the United States. It is crazy, crazy, crazy warm. It is crazy warm. And typically I'm one of those people that, like, whatever, whatever, whatever. It's still February. Don't jump the gun. It might be crazy warm right now, but winter's still here and it's still coming. I'm not so sure about that. I am not so sure about that, because we have been in the 60s and 70s, overnight lows only in the 40s. We're going to get a little dip towards the end of this week, but it's really not going to do a whole lot. But is spring already here? How are you feeling? If you don't have your pre-emergent down yet, are you going to put it down earlier this season? If you typically don't get out in the lawn till March, is February going to be the month that you get out in it this year? Because, man, Mother Nature's playing some sick games with us right now. If you're up north, though, right? Arkansas 27, UGA 11. Ooh, sorry, what was it, dog lawn care? I'm sorry. Hey, still a lot of game left, but I'm liking that score. No, are you going to get out there in February? Because if you're in the northern half of the U.S., you got a big snowstorm coming, right? A big one, a massive one. Down here, we thought that polar vortex, long range forecast from a few weeks ago, we're saying that polar vortex was going to make it deep into the south. And then over time, that polar vortex like broke up and whatever it did, and it stayed further up to the north, and it's just kept these southerly and westerly winds down here in the south, and we're staying super, super warm while all the cold, frigid air stays up north and the snowstorm up there. But if you're in the south, you got to be thinking about maybe a little bit of lawn care. Maybe a little bit of lawn care. I'm seeing in New Jersey going down a little earlier this year. Matt, he's saying the soil's already 56 degrees. Yeah, I'm telling you. Now, I mentioned last week on the show that I went ahead and put down my pre-emergent last week. Now, this wasn't the pre-emergent for the spring. This wasn't the pre-emergent for crabgrass. Typically, I put that down around the third week of March. But because this yard was new last year with new sod, my whole pre-emergent schedule, my typical pre-emergent schedule of September, January, and March is all out of whack because I waited a little bit longer to start doing that since the sod was new turf. So I'm a little bit behind, but I'm starting to think that having that jacked up schedule to a certain extent and having to go ahead and put down a pre-emergent now may work out in my favor. It might just work out in my favor because with these temperatures warming up and not looking like they're going to cool down much, certainly not below freezing, it's looking like those soil temperatures are going to keep rising, and that even though I'm off schedule, it's going to work out in my favor. So I'll take it, but I'll come back and I'll put another round of it down. Let's see, February, March, April, maybe sometime the end of April. We'll see. I don't know. But we got a round down last week, which would have been my January application if I was on normal schedule. So I'm feeling pretty good about it because the temperatures have been unseasonably warm. I got Joe here. Joe's on the phone. He's not happy, folks. He is not happy. And imagine this: Joe is such a calm, docile, even-keeled guy, right, Joe? I hope you're watching. Just imagine how unhappy he could possibly be. So we got folks in here in Middle Tennessee. We got folks. Look, we appreciate y'all. Whether you're from the north, the south, cool season, warm season. Thanks so much for just coming in and hanging out with us on Tuesday nights. I saw a comment a while ago, Joe. It said, if I go over an hour, do we get to slap Joe in the face? That puts me in a difficult spot, y'all. Perhaps if we all come to an agreement in the comment section that if I go over an hour, I do it intentionally and I get spared the slap in the face. But Joe, should I do that to you, man? Joe, hop in the comments, talk to us. Should I do that to you? No, look, I'm not going to go over an hour because what we really envision out of this show long term is we could not do this show live, right? We could produce this show as if it were live, a look live, and then we could upload it to YouTube. Certainly we could do that. We like the live engagement of you being here with us in the chat. So that's a lot more fun for all of us, we think. But we want you to feel like, too, that if you miss this show on Tuesday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, that you can come back and know that it's only going to be an hour, no more than an hour. And you can chip away at that hour a little bit of time. You can sit down and listen to it while you're working on something else. But we don't want it to be one of those 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, long drawn out live stream, because those are kind of unrealistic, right? They're unrealistic for us. Joe and I were talking about before we came on. I sent him the link so he could join into the show, and I said, I'm not jumping on yet. I'm just sending you the link because I'm going to get it out of the way before I go help tuck the kids in bed. And just as I was telling him I was going to tuck my kids in, he texted back and said, that's cool. I'm reading books to the kids while we're putting them to bed. And he was reading books and changing different words throughout the book with the word poop. I know that seems crazy, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's not just Joe's kids, but my kids, if you say the word poop, we get on the giggle bus and there's no turning back. So if you've had kids or you've got kids, young kids, had them, got them now, I mean, tell us in the comments, is poop as funny to your kids as they are to mine, as the word is to my kids and Joe's? Because I'm telling you, poop is all the comedy we need around this house. Joe, I hear Joe. Joe sounds like he's trying to hop back in. And Joe, I think perhaps, you're on your phone. Well, I don't know how we're going to make that happen because I don't know how to add a phone into OBS. So we'll have to figure that out. But so it sounds like there's kind of a mixed bag on people who's expecting a big snowstorm this week and not even thinking about lawn care. Because I know some of you, I mean, this could be a doozy. I mean, this really could be a doozy when it comes to a snowstorm. Hey, Joe, Joe, should I tell you what this comment says? Joe has gone for a very long poop. See, Joe's laughing, y'all. Joe's laughing. I can hear him, but you can't. There's something funny about the word poop. I don't get what it is, poop and farts. I'm telling you that much. Hey, I want to kind of, since we don't have Joe, and it gives me a little bit more of the spotlight, and we don't have to share the microphone very much, well, at all tonight. Sorry, Joe. I want to tell you about something, and I hope you'll stick around um, through the spring and check in to see what's happening, because I've been kind of hinting that we're about to see something major change in our front lawn here at the new house. If you watched any of the videos from the first season in the front lawn, I didn't do anything to it. Everything was focused in the back. We have a ski slope in my front yard. I mean, it is steep. The driveway's steep, the front yard is steep. And when we looked at this house, um, before it was even built, and I saw the one being built next door, I could tell right away that the front yard was, for a lack of better way to put it, was going to suck. I mean, that's the only way to put it. But if you're married out there and you're house shopping with your bride, um, the house comes before the lawn. And the house was everything we wanted. It checked off all the boxes we were looking for. Single level, so the right number of bedrooms and bathrooms, 3-car garage. My wife wanted it. I didn't want the lawn. Do you know how that one goes most of the time? But here's the way I looked at it. Uh, I saw it more of as a challenge than I did as a deterrent. I saw it as maybe a way to have a different looking, very unique front lawn. And after much consideration and looking at our different options and the things we can do to make it better, not only from an upkeep standpoint, but for a practical space to be a place that our family can enjoy, not just our backyard, but also our front. We are about to undertake a huge, huge project on it. Okay, I'm still waiting on word when it's going to get started. We got a lot of rain in the forecast, so trying to get started in the spring is going to be tough. But that whole front yard is going to transform like crazy. Now, I'll give you a few little insights into it. We are getting rid of a good majority of the grass. So I'm working this thing to where I have less turf to manicure and more landscaping. Now, the big idea for this came because twice our 3-year-old little boy walked out the front door, stepped off the front porch onto the sidewalk, and, well, he went from the top of the hill on the sidewalk to the bottom of the hill on the sidewalk very, very quickly. And it didn't take us long to realize, look, we can't even sit on our front porch. We can't even enjoy this front lawn in any way, shape, or form, especially with the kids, because they're going to fall down it. Not to mention, I twisted an ankle mowing it. It was just a nightmare to mow. So we've got some big plans coming up for that this spring. I'm hoping we'll get that thing knocked out by early summer, because, then we kind of start all over again on a new lawn, because we're going to have a lot of landscaping to do, flower beds to plant, new sod, all new sod to get back going again. So we're kind of like on, yeah. So Joe's in my ear. He's asked me what sod type I'm getting. I have decided to just stick with Old Faithful Tifway 419 Bermuda grass sod. It's a north-facing lawn. So originally, because I had a north-facing lawn at my old house and really struggled with spring dead spot, because the north-facing lawn sees no sun in the summer, or in the winter, I'm sorry. No sun. Shady, shaded by the house, cold, extra cold in the front lawn on the north side of a house. And at my old house, the same cardinal direction, and I really struggled with spring dead spot because it just never got a chance to dry out. If it froze, it stayed frozen. Ice, snow stayed on it for a long time. So I was going to mix up my turf type in the front yard to one that's a little bit more, has been cultivated to be stronger and more resistant to especially spring dead spot. And that was Latitude 36. And I don't think a lot of people, understood my reasoning behind that. And they thought, oh, he's budget lawns, but he's looking at a boutique type Bermuda grass variety. Well, I'm actually cutting the amount of grass I'm going to have in my front lawn. I would guess, just from a visual perspective of the plants, probably by half. So when you're only laying that much sod, the price difference was wasn't what you would think it would be, but it was still more than I wanted it to be. So when it all came down to it, push came to shove, and we had other things we wanted, from steps to stones and this, that, and the other. Look, I'm fine with Tifway 419. It's in the backyard. We'll make the front yard stay Tifway 419 and match. So it won't be anything different from one to the other. So that big project is coming up super, super soon. That's going to be more one of those projects here on the channel that perhaps, maybe a lack of a better term, we'll just call it a vlog type series, where you get to keep up with the process along the way, because it's going to be an interesting process. Because if you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the front lawn, yeah, there's going to be no easy way to do this. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be interesting to see how they dig out that hillside and install some of the ideas that myself and a landscape architect, who, that's a whole nother story, had some connections and mutual friends. We got together on this, and in the vision in my head, he was able to take it and put it down into plans and on paper and make everything work out. And I think we both kind of saw eye to eye on how this hillside, what it could look like. Because right now, it's not particularly anything worth talking about. It's not good. Sod cutter, man, last year I cut up a lot of that stuff. It's really just, with as big of a project as this going to be, and how little sod is going to be needed, and how affordable Tifway 419 is from a farm that's just right down the street, it would almost be more difficult to get a sod cutter, cut out what I've got, and try to repurpose it. So it really will just be easier to start completely over. Looking through some of the other comments here, budget landscaping, Travis's new channel. Hey, there have been a lot of folks request landscaping. We're going to get to some landscaping. And that's another thing when we talked up towards the beginning of the show that, I think that's one of the marks that's really missed by a lot of the channels in the lawn care community, is the landscaping. I think there's this crazy, unhealthy obsession about just having pristine grass that a lot of times it gets overlooked, that your grass can look a whole heck of a lot better with really nice landscaping. I mean, it's that simple. Your grass doesn't always have to be the showstopper. It doesn't always have to be pristine. It kind of can get not overlooked, but not be the main focus of attention if you have really nice landscaping around the lawn. So I want to get more into that, and I hope there's support across the community, people that watch lawn care videos, that they'll support the landscaping side of it as well. I think it's just something else that if you're into lawn care, it just seems like you would be into the landscape side of it as well, and not just having pristine grass all the time. I don't know, because my dad warned me. He gave me one piece of advice when I became a homeowner, and as I usually would do in my younger days, and this wasn't too long ago, but I found out real quickly that, why do I even try to argue with him? Why do I try to find a way for what he says to be wrong? 99.99% of the time, your pops is always right. And he told me when I became a homeowner that if I got into lawn care, to be careful, because the more you do, the nicer you want it, the more time it takes, the more money it takes, the more effort it takes. And for a personality like mine, I'm sure a lot of you could relate to this out there. For a personality that like mine that gets into something, I'm all or nothing. And so that was very challenging for me at first in the beginning. Now, COVID kind of made it easier to get into that all or nothing, because I had an abundance of time like a lot of people did. But I spoke to this last week, and I made sure to mention that a lot of the experiences and things we talk about here on Budget Lawns or here on this program, they're not things that we're trying to, just kind of make up out of thin air. I'd like to speak on the things that I have experienced that come from my personal experiences in this journey from becoming a homeowner in 2017 to now. And and I know that I can't be the only one that's gone through this. So I hope that the things I say here on my channel are relatable to a certain extent. You might not like it. It might not be relatable to you. You might disagree. But sometimes it ain't about you. And sometimes it ain't about me. Now, it's really easy to look at creators who are making videos and say, how's it not about you? You're the one that makes your videos, but it must be about you because you need validation. No, I just need someone to talk to. And the someone I'm talking to is hopefully someone who has experienced the same thing, is going through the same thing, and just needs someone to talk them out of some unhealthy, crazy obsession from time to time. Because I was unhealthy, crazy obsessed at one time, and I began to loathe lawn care. Loathe it because it wasn't fun anymore. It became this strive for perfection. And I've gotten past that. Now, getting past that doesn't come without, some disagreements and haters' opinions, not seeing eye to eye. When I share those times that I'm not taking care of my lawn, and in no way, shape, or form am I showing you that you should be doing this too. You should stop taking care of your lawn because I am. But I'm the one documenting it. I'm the one making videos about it. And I make videos during the times where I'm not take care of it and it's going down the gutter. That way I can come back in the future and make a video to show you, hey, remember this? Remember when it looked like complete garbage back in the fall because I got busy with work and teaching and my family and other activities? Remember that? Remember how bad it looked? Well, look what it looks like now. So that's a big motivation behind a lot of my content, how I come up with my ideas. I don't come up with them to try and drag people down with me. I don't come up with them to be an authority figure. I come up with them because I do this like for fun and more of a vlog and, to document my experiences and processes and hopefully find people along the way who can relate to those and might find some sort of comfort, inspiration, motivation, whatever you might want to call it. That's the angle my videos are coming from. Oh my goodness. Joe, if Joe, you're out there listening, now I see why we decided to do this with two people, because look, I can talk. I consider myself a person who has a little bit of the gift of gab, but I'm also out of shape, man. I'm out of shape. My lungs are winded on this one tonight. They are winded, and I got to get these suckers. Maybe this will get my lungs into gear, because the lawn season, as we've already talked about tonight, is perhaps approaching quicker than usual. So I know that those first few weeks out in the lawn, who goes through this every year, those first few weeks out in the lawn in March or April, you just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm out of shape. It's going to be a long season. And then before you know it, every week that goes by, the mows, you start feeling, stronger. You start feeling more motivated and less defeated, less dehydrated every time you go out in the lawn. Because I'm telling you, it can be tough for me in those first few months. I put super juice booster shots. I put on my winter coat over the cold months. That's for sure. For this stream, you really need to look into StreamYard. Hey, I don't know a whole lot about StreamYard. Here's the thing with that. Right now, we're doing this here on Budget Lawns. For the sake of my sanity, for the sake of my time and my wife's time and the attention I give her and my kids and their time, I'm not on any other platforms. I do YouTube and YouTube only. I have the accounts. I don't do anything with them. I don't do Instagram anymore. I've never been on TikTok. I've never done Twitter. Facebook is idle. So I'm only here on YouTube So that's why we're on OBS right now. And up until tonight, we haven't had any problems. And obviously the stream is fine elsewhere. Something must have happened with Joe's camera. So we're going to go back to the drawing board on that and see if we can figure out what happened, because we've done a lot of practice runs at this and 2 shows already, and neither one of them has had a hiccup. So we apologize for that. Hopefully you've enjoyed sitting here looking at me in my Razorback shirt. I know the Hogs are up big at half, so I'm pretty excited about that. And hey, we just hit 1 hour. Okay, I can see right here our live time is 1 hour. Now let me clarify something, because last week, Joe, if you're listening, I kind of dropped the ball on this. I think I cut us off at just before an hour, which an hour is really not an hour. An hour is really 55 minutes, because we started the show with a 5-minute pre-show, opening 5, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to do that every Tuesday evening, 7:55. Joe and I get on here, shoot the bull for 5 minutes, welcome you into the show, and then the show starts at 8. So technically, by my record time, here on the time code, we can go up to 1 hour and 5 minutes. So I just want to clarify that, because I don't feel like getting slapped in the face. So we hey, Walmart 10 10 10, triple 10 from Walmart. I don't know what it is, Doc. I used to get the oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've done it now, but I used to get the what do you call it? Pro Care triple 10 from Lowe's. It wasn't there this past summer. I don't know what it was, but Walmart, leave it to old Wally World. Walmart, and it's what was it? Expert Gardener triple 10. Hey, look, when I put in the groceries for pickup, I just slap me on there the triple 10 bag of fertilizer. They're throwing in my deli meat and my bread, and I'm getting a bag of fertilizer at the same time. So I get my food, and the lawn gets its food all at once. So that's hard to beat. Hey, I don't know what your opinions are on Walmart, but if you know anything about the area I'm from in Northwest Arkansas, the Walmart home office is literally spitting distance, like as the crow flies away from my house. So I'm like in Walmart land. We don't have Kroger, we don't have Publix, we don't have what is it, Tom Thumb. We don't have a lot of other grocery stores, because here it's Walmart. We do have one other grocery store. It's called Harps. It's a local type grocery store in around this area of Arkansas. I don't think it's in Oklahoma, but we're in Walmart land. So love it or hate it, in Northwest Arkansas, this is where it started. So you don't have a whole lot of other options. So call me a homer, but I don't mind Walmart. I mean, when you can get lunch, dinner, and lawn supplies all in one place, what is there to complain about that? I don't know anything about Music City Gold. Look, here's the thing. Everything's expensive right now. I mean, everything's expensive. I joked with some friends the other day. Great value ketchup from Walmart is about the same price as what Heinz ketchup used to be. I mean, you can't hardly get a coffee creamer anymore. We used to get like a half gallon or whatever, a coffee creamer for like $2.99. That stuff is like $6 now, $5. I don't even know what it is. So when it comes to fertilizer, I'm not budget lawns for nothing. I'm going to buy something that I feel like is affordable, and I'm not breaking the bank to feed the lawn a little bit a few times a year. Last year I think I skipped 2 of my normal applications just because the price of fertilizer went up. Because I've seen, and Tom has told me, that if you're mulching your clippings and you're doing all the cultural practices right, what? If you miss a round of fertilization, you're going to lose a little bit of green. Just a little bit of green. I'm okay losing a little bit of green to save a little bit of the other kind of green, the cash in my pocket. So look, if it's affordable, if it's cheap, if it's in your budget, buy it. Put it on the lawn, see if it works. If it doesn't work, don't get it again. But I've tried the Pro Care 10-10-10 from Lowe's, and I've tried the triple 10 from Walmart, and they both have worked. So I keep buying them. Look, I'm inside of 40 seconds to 1 hour on this show. I want to save my face. Hogs got the second half coming up against Georgia. Let's hope they keep it up. Hey, I appreciate y'all spending some time with me and Joe for a little bit tonight, and then me the rest of the time. Thanks for sticking it out with just a one-man band. We'll have Joe all squared away, ready to come back. We'll tackle some of the topics that we were going to tackle tonight. We'll save them for you until next week. But until then, thanks so much. Have a great rest of the week, and we will see you soon. Take care.